Well, before we start talking about financial fair play, we have to give UEFA some credit. Their intention in creating financial fair play regulations was to improve the financial health of European football. That's what they were planning to do, that's what they were aiming to do, and that's what they tried to do with all the amendments they did year after year on financial fair play. Now, if it's working, I would have to say it really isn't. So are clubs not richer year after year? The rich clubs, aren't they richer? And aren't poorer clubs poorer year after year? Don't we see debt increasing in most football clubs around Europe? We do. So financial fair play regulations were a good idea. They really were. The intentions were there and they were well planned out as well. But the reality of the situation is that they might not be the best measure. The health of European football, the financial health, hasn't improved. Now, COVID didn't help, but even COVID aside, we didn't have good signs from it. We actually saw that it kind of solidified the gap between the very rich clubs and the very poor clubs. And then that spiraled further down into uber rich clubs and poor clubs that are struggling not to get into administration every year. So it really didn't seem to have worked. And research kind of agrees on that point. It was a good idea, and we need to emphasize that. And it's a good idea that if you have a confederation in charge of a number of football clubs and leagues around Europe, they should do something when they see the club struggling. So, in its form, it might not be useful, but the idea of actually being actively involved in improving the financial health of football clubs, I think, yes, is important. Something should be there to control how football clubs operate and to ensure that, you know, smaller clubs don't end up getting an administration and bigger clubs don't become uber big clubs that basically leave their national leagues, as we saw an attempt happening last year. They need to figure out how to better balance the national leagues and how that operates in the wider European football ecosystem. It might be worth for confederations to rethink what football is about. If we care about the league, for example, maybe distributing revenue a bit more equally, assisting smaller clubs, maybe assisting clubs that are in lower leagues so they might have a chance in the top league. Maybe a system that would be more tailored in each case might make better sense. What we do see nowadays is that we have extremely rich clubs and we equally have extremely poor clubs. And financial fair play regulations were created to balance out these two, but they have failed. So a mechanism of redistributing wealth or of additional assistance to clubs that might not make ends meet might be the way forward. I think that there are capable individuals working in the governance of football, and I think that better solutions can be found. So I actually would wait and see what will be proposed next, because there is a call for a new mechanism to be implemented, and I would very much welcome that.